Hey guys, it's Music Man here, and here's the new Hunter Violinist. He's going to do my intro music because I don't really know how to do that. Um, Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay in addition to my commentary about the new Hunter Violinist. So I really enjoy the design of the Violinist. He's one of the scarier hunters that have been added into the game, and he features a violin that he uses as his weapon. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of Antonio's abilities. So his external trait is Terrifying Melody, in which Antonio plays out terrifying music with all the melody in the world. Survivors will be infected with multiple stacks of demon notes, and demon notes, it says survivors' movements are affected by the music resounding in their ears. They need to find a quiet place to calm down. 1, 2, 3 stacks of demon notes will decrease movement speed by 4, 8, 12%, and decrease decoding and healing speed by 15, 30, and 50%. Where there are no other survivors within 24 meters, the infected survivor can calm down through meditation and remove the effect of the demon notes. And that'll all make sense once you see some of the gameplay. So at zero presence, the violinist gets the sonata ability. And it says here, Antonio plays the first music note at the target location. He can use his ability to play a second music note in 5 seconds. The two music notes will resonate to generate terrifying string music. And it says, the string stays on the field for 13 seconds, but only deals damage right when it's generated. So survivors who are hit will suffer damage equal to 1 normal attack plus 1 stack of demon notes. When these survivors touch the same string music later, another stack of demon notes will be added with no damage suffered. There is a 5-second buffer for string music to add a stack of demon notes to the same survivor. So basically that's saying Antonio will be able to cast out 2 music notes, and within a short radius between those two, sort of a wall will be casted, much like Mad Eye's walls. And so if the survivors are within that radius, right in between the two walls, right when it's casted, they'll get a stack of demon notes in addition to the damage of 1 normal attack. And then after it's initially casted, it deals no damage to survivors and only adds more stacks. So at 1,000 presence, the violinist gets Rhapsody, in which Antonio performs for 9 seconds during the crazed performance. He can move during the backswing of normal attacks and charged attacks. His attacks won't collide with some features. At the same time, he will also send out an additional terrifying music note along with each attack. Terrifying music is music notes that ignore the terrain and keep on flying, adding 1 stack of demon notes to the survivor's hit. And that'll make more sense the farther you get into the video when I start showing you some gameplay. And at max presence, the violinist gets infinite movement, and it says within 20 meters of the terrifying string's music center, Antonio can throw out his bow and pull on the string music to make it vibrate, creating 10 scattered and fleeting pieces of string music. Survivors hit by the string music will suffer damage equal to a normal attack, and survivors in the areas between the two pieces won't be affected. Again, will make more sense the farther you get. So here's the persona that I like to play with a violinist. I like to go all the way down to detention, pretty much with every hunter and every match. For the violinist, I like to play Trump Guard and Tinnitus. Again, every hunter, you need that. And I like to go up for pallet breaking speed. It just improves your chase a little bit. So for my traits, there are two traits that I would say are particularly effective for this particular hunter. So that would be Patroller and Peeper. So I think Patroller is helpful because of the stun that the Patroller gives every 5 seconds. The survivor won't be able to move, and that makes it a lot easier to target with your walls, especially when you have no presence. Now Peeper, same kind of idea, except the survivor is revealed to you constantly within its radius, and you get the decreased interaction speed, which is quite helpful. In addition, since his beginning, his early game is the weakest part about this hunter, you can also get away with carrying Blink. Now, I like to bring trump card because towards the end, sometimes I find it necessary to switch to teleport, and that'll make. I like using teleport because you can teleport and disrupt the last cipher or interrupt the opening of a gate. So, without further ado, let's get into some gameplay. So as you can see, we're on Ever Sleeping. We got a barmaid, an acrobat, a perfumer, and a prisoner. And I'll scroll through and show you all the personas here. So that's what I like to run. And then we got the prisoner, the barmaid, and we can see we've got an acrobat. And so I find the perfumer first. I don't usually like to target the perfumer first just because I find that I always get kited all the time when I'm facing her right away. But I'm like, okay, let's experiment with this violinist skill. And I'm like, oh, she just swings back, get the hit. So right away I've already got one down, and I'm taking her to chair. So one thing that I noticed through a couple of previous matches that I've done is that the violinist camping is like very powerful because you can use that wall, you can get a hit, and there's you don't get the cooldown that you do with a normal attack. Anyways, so I'm just here patrolling around trying to figure out what way they're going to be coming from. Go here, circle around the building. I'm checking in the upper corner whether tinnitus is going off, and I see that it finally is, so I'm like, okay, gonna head back to chair. I'm gonna check around the other side. But this is where things get interesting. I think it's the acrobat that comes. Yep, it's the acrobat that comes. So I place my music note, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I got the acrobat, and I downed the perfumer. And since he didn't have tide turn, back on the chair, the perfumer goes. So at this point, I can still see the footprints from the acrobat, so I'm figuring I'm going to follow them. And I see, yep, he's going to try to kite me around this area here. See if I can get a couple of lucky hits with a secondary skill. I see he's going up the steps, so I decide to throw my patroller down, since I know that he's only going to be a one-shot if I hit him once. So I was lucky he got him right before the window ledge. So now I'm going to start climbing up here, following him. And he uses one of his bombs to get out the window. So that I have to, nice job, I have to fall into that. But I mean, the patroller was still going on. He didn't really have any sort of mobility after that. And now the acrobat goes to chair. So now I'm at maximum presence, which is obviously when the violinist is gonna get his third ability. And I'm like, okay, let's play around and see what this does. And since violinist isn't released into rank match yet, this is just quick match battles, so it'll be interesting to see how my matches change as we start getting into ranked mode. But anyways, get a lucky hit there. I'm like, let's try the third ability. It wasn't positioned quite right. But then the nice thing about the second ability is that you don't get that usual recoil after a missed attack. You usually stop for a little bit if you swing once and you miss. But if you're using the secondary ability, you won't get that recoil. So I'm taking the acrobat back to the chair. And I'm looking around for wiggling ciphers. I see that there's one over there, so I'm going to make my way that way. Let's see. I'm also checking for... I saw that stop wiggling, so I'm going to head back. Kind of move around, check for tinnitus. Let's see that it's on. Now, this is where I don't do the camping quite right. So I tried to go the other way, and it didn't exactly work really well. The third skill didn't really work, and I hit the chair. So the barmaid does a really nice job there, and I was kind of annoyed by that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to target the barmaid. So I get my patroller out, and I initially struggled to get the latch onto it, but eventually I get there. So anyways, now the barmaid is revealed to me, and so I'm gonna make my way that way. And barmaid did a nice job self-healing right before that hit. That was really close. I'm gonna break this pallet here, but then the prisoner on the last cipher catches my eye, and I'm like, okay, I need to disrupt this. So I make my way around with that one. Yep, and then he's gonna vault this window, and I get the down. But I'm gonna chair him, but I'm also aware that that cipher is almost done. I could tell by the sound effects that it was getting pretty close. And so I go ahead, disable the prisoners thing, so now the acrobat isn't able to decode it remotely. So now I know tinnitus is off, so I'm just going to kind of hug the chair. Now, this is another one where my aim was kind of off here. It doesn't quite go around the cipher. I'm not trying to pretend to be a pro violinist. This is probably like my third or fourth match playing him. But anyways, I noticed I got the save, so I'm like, okay, I'll stick you on chair. Oh, yep. Nice stun by the prisoner. Again, buying some more time for his teammates. But back under the chair, the barmaid goes. Oh yeah, that was her first chair. So I'm expecting another save to come through. But I find out that they're just going after that last cipher. Oh yeah, and then I finally figure out the third ability, and I down both of them. And that's the end of the match. All in all, I think the Violinist is going to be a very powerful character when it comes to when this character is released to ranked. I really like the style of this character, how it's kind of like a chase-oriented Mad Eyes, with the violin notes acting sort of like his walls. And I predict that this character will be used quite often when it's released to ranked. And when you play Violinist, make sure you're... camping is very important when you're playing as him. I know some of you Survivor mains won't like to hear another camping hunter, but his camping is very powerful, that you can lay down a wall to get a hit on the rescuer and then down the person being rescued. It's also nice that the walls don't give you the recoil of what a normal hit does. So I hope this video helped you. If it did, please leave a like and subscribe. And please let me know in the comment section below any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos. And thanks for watching.